Hey guys, White Fox 1225 here with another video, and today we're going to talk about a game that I'm pretty excited for. That game would be Crowfall. It's a new MMO being made by Artcraft Entertainment. So those are some of the guys, it's not the same company, but some of the guys that made Ultima Online, which is well known as one of the best MMOs, and sort of what paved the way for MMOs now. And then also SWTOR. I don't know if you guys are huge fans. I never played. For those of you who don't know, that's Star Wars: The Old Republic. I never played, but a lot of people were big fans of that game. So let's get into what the game actually is. So it's a mix of an MMO and a strategy game. So that might sound kind of weird, but it is. It's PvP focused, and it uses a lot of strategy, but it takes place in, your character. It's all about progression and getting new skills, and it's MMO gameplay and all of that good stuff. So we're just going to get right on into it, guys. We're going to talk about the world and time, because that's actually kind of the most important thing in this game. So when you launch up the game and you make your character, you're going to have to pick a campaign to play, and each campaign is unique and can have its own rules, its own settings. And then once you get in that campaign, you have your own world, and that world is completely unique. It's randomly generated, and two worlds look the same. So when you get in game, you're going to have to pick a faction, kind of like Elder Scrolls Online with factions fighting each other. Once you pick that faction, you're going to just get right in the fight, and those factions are obviously vying over control of the world that you're in. Now, the cool thing is that when you get in the world, it's pretty much untouched. Now, there are some caves with monsters in them and all that good stuff, but you can actually chop down trees and mold the world to how you want. You can build castles, and as you build castles, you claim territory for your factions. And the way the factions are set up sounds pretty cool. It's really complicated, so I won't go into it that much, but there's leaders of factions like kings, probably who's on top of the leaderboard, and they can grant people land and all that good stuff. It looks, when they showed it, almost like a royal family tree, and it looked really cool, and I was pretty excited for it. But yeah, guys, the world is pretty much untouched, so you can build whatever you want, you can destroy anything you want. Then the world is fully destructible, which is really cool, something that I'm really excited for. So it means a lot of stuff in terms of gameplay too. So if you're sieging a castle, you can dig underneath the castle, they said, and siege it that way, or you can blow a hole and make the castle fall down. Kind of similar to Minecraft, the world is made up of these little blocks, and the blocks just can completely fall down, or you can build them up. But it's a lot like Minecraft, actually. Just think of the blocks as a lot smaller. So with the world being so destructible and it being a strategy game, when all strategy games usually have ends and they can restart, so people can actually have a chance again. It wouldn't be fun if someone was dominating all the time. Strategy games pretty much always have to reset. It's kind of something that strategy games always do because it's how they work. So after a certain time, and I'm sure it's up to the campaign person whoever running the campaign, the example they gave you was 3 months. After that 3 months ends, the world is completely destroyed, and you just enter a new campaign, and you get to choose what you want. But your character will be exactly the same. All your stats and skills will be the same. All the armor you have will be the same. It's just going to be a different world. So your character is eternally lasting, but the world will only last for a couple months or maybe a couple weeks, depending on the settings. But other than that, guys, there are these things they call eternal worlds, which is kind of like your separate area from the campaign. So there you have your player housing, which is a cool feature this game does have. Some of the stuff they showed was pretty cool. It had castles and stuff, so there is player housing, and you kind of have that separate little world to do your own thing in. This game will also have guilds, so that's something pretty common in MMO, but guilds are going to be more important in this game because the guilds are part of the faction, and like I said, it's kind of cool how the factions are vying for power. They said it's going to feel like a Game of Thrones season where there's betrayal, and there's all that good stuff and people vying for power, and it just sounds really cool and kind of like something a lot more developed, and your actions have real world impacts, something more than something like ESO. It sounds like it's actually going to matter what you do and how well you do, and actually getting granted land in the world is actually something really cool that I wish something like Elder Scrolls Online has, but it obviously doesn't. So other than that, guys, a couple things I want to mention is that this game does have a hunger meter, which is something that I was kind of interested in because I actually kind of like that because it really gets you immersed in the game. A hunger meter, so you have to eat every once in a while. I'm sure it won't be that much, but it is cool that you have that. And they said during the winter, because there are seasons in the game, that food will get a little bit more scarce, and maybe it's important that you'd have to go for a farm in order to feed your soldiers. So definitely going to be a lot of strategy in the game, guys. You have to take resource places like lumber mills, kind of like in ESO, but in order to build siege weapons. So really strategy based. And that's something really cool, and the hunger meter is just really cool too, how you actually have to feed your troops. I'm really intrigued by that. Also, there's crafting, and apparently crafting is really important. You're going to have to craft almost all the gear, apparently, in this game. And they said if you want to even just be a crafting and supply your team that way, that you could do that. You obviously don't have to do that, and you could be a crafter and still fight, or you can buy all your stuff. But definitely some cool stuff in terms of crafting. It looks like it's going to have a really good economy, which we haven't seen in an MMO in a while. But the economy looks to be really good. I think it might have an auction house. I can't confirm that, but they've been talking about the economy a lot, and it does look really good. So this game is going to launch buy to play with an optional subscription fee. It looks like, I think that's what they're calling the VIP fee. But if you're interested in this game, guys, right now it's on Kickstarter for 7 more days. For $30, you can get the game and get access to the beta. When it launches, it's going to be $50. So if you guys are really interested, make sure you go back to me. It was already completely funded, but if you want to get in on the early rewards, make sure you guys go check that out. So I hope you guys are as interested in this game as I am. It looks really cool, kind of like an MMO strategy game. I'll probably be picking it up when it comes out. So if you guys have any comments or want to ask me anything about the game, make sure you leave those down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.